Any questions?
So my wife and I traveled from Schaumburg because we couldn't get the VIP in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well,
yeah. So about 5 years ago, you had excerpts online from stuff that happened when you were a kid, and it was like really well put together and assembled, and you're kind of very immersive. And like I was wondering, I couldn't find it anymore online because I'm a psychiatrist in Schaumburg. I'm gonna write my own book. I'm not going to use anything you referenced back then, but I've always think about these concepts of strife and intensity when during youth and the concept of anxiety. Is that material in the book that it's been pulled from the internet? What was there 5 years ago?
no, similar things, but probably more written about in depth.
And so it's no longer online, but now it'll be in the book.
You can. I've run into it occasionally. You can find it. Fans can direct you there. I mean, there's some people have archived that stuff. That stuff was written more like a pastiche, like a set of images or ideas.
I see.
The book is sort of more, to use your word, immersive in terms of narrative, because you can't write a book for a zillion pages like sort of poetry. It doesn't work.
Will it have that content?
In terms of abuse or?
Just home life.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you were attracted to in it. You know what I mean?
Well, as a psychiatrist and my home life and just the Chicago area has a lot of affinity, but.
I mean, anybody that grew up in that time. I mean, being abused was not anything unique.
Right.
I mean, pretty much everybody I knew in my neighborhood was beaten by their parents with great regularity. It seemed to be the parenting method du jour.
Choice. That's right.
So,
okay. Well, we'll look forward to the book. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if I can ever finish it.
Yeah. All right.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to do about Dora and Machina.
Can you talk a little louder?
Dora and Machina. Dora obviously is very has to be about loss. It's
Mhm.
very my favorite album of yours, I guess what made you go from Dora seemed like go through just finish that, and I know what your thoughts were about it when it first came out. Then after sales of that, you go. What made you switch from the Dora to the sound of Machina? And Machina is a very mysterious album. What made you go from Dora, which was awesome?
I think did everyone hear his question? I think probably the simplest foundational idea there is that when you reveal yourself with incredible vulnerability, and whether it's real or not, you feel rejected in that, you tend to, especially if you come from a pattern of abuse, you tend to recloak, to use a Star Trek term. So Machina was like a recloaking. And quite frankly, I mean, I don't think I've ever revealed myself. If I'm being honest. I think there was an honesty there between Siamese Dream, Melancholy, and Adore that's never returned, because I just felt like I got punched in the face, and by a fairly big fist. And that was kind of at the beginning of the internet age, so maybe there was a different sensitivity there because I wasn't used to that languaging.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like those were the first days you could actually go on and see what people were saying. And it was kind of bizarre, and it's like I call the internet the unchecked id. It's like what people are really thinking, but they usually don't tell you until they're high. But the internet is like that's all the time. So I think it was very hard for me to deal with the critical rejection, the commercial rejection, the record company rejection. And I mean, to go one layer more on it, I think I wanted it to happen. I think I was very unhappy, and so. Sometimes when you're unhappy, you look for like an exit. So that was my exit. Oh, well, nobody understands me. I knew it all along. So Machina was like this recloaking. Like you're not gonna follow me. I mean, honestly, one of the best reviews from a fan that I ever got in Machina was a guy said, "I smoked a ton of weed." He said, "I didn't understand the album. I smoked a ton of weed," and he goes, "I suddenly understood the album." And I said, "What did you understand?" He said, "There's the album up front and there's the album behind. And he goes, by smoking a bunch of weed, I was able to get the album behind. I said, that's exactly it. You got to get through all that gauze and haze up front. And if you can get into the back of that thing, that's where the real album lies. And then just the last little bit, what's funny to us is, because as musicians, we see production as like clothes. Just because I wear a clown outfit doesn't mean I'm a clown, right? So what people cloak themselves in production-wise is just it's like style. But the song to us is the holy thing. So we would go out and play Machina material live, or when Machina 2 came out, people were like, oh man, this is what I want to hear. And we're like, we're the same fucking band. What the fuck are you talking about? But people couldn't get past the conceptual part. So over time, and as production has changed, and I mean, just to draw a quick parallel, I mean, you can listen to some recent, almost even like Rihanna productions. I mean, it sounds like Machina. That sort of distorted, schizoid, I mean, we were way ahead on that curve. So I think it's easier to understand now in today's production style than it was then, because at that point, really nobody, I think, had ever done anything as far as a pop album. I mean, maybe Atari, Teenage Riot and stuff, Trent was doing certain things, but I mean, we went to this other weird level, because we cloaked the whole thing, drums included, so I mean, I could ramble on about it. Next question.